not meeting. I'm gonna ask for Brad, who will do some work for him.
Most kind, gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you today, Lord. Lord, we thank you for all of your blessings in life. Father, we just ask, Lord, that you just be with us tonight. Lord, the decisions we make, Lord, may we be pleasing to you, Father. Father, just go with us now, lead, guide, and direct in all that we do. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda is approved minutes for April the 20th and May the 11th. I need a motion to approve those minutes. I need a second. All vote. You got a copy of it? To approve all, the approval of financials, I need a motion. Need a second. All vote. Next on the agenda, we got Kathy Tanner, Gary Wheeler, City of Denton requesting paving road to the cemetery. Y'all got a thing in the packet?
I'm here on the behalf of the citizens of Denton. We have a road that's, as listed on the sign, it's called Schoolhouse Road. It's actually Yankee Road. The school Denton side is the road between Atkinson's used cars and where our dumpsters are located at. The citizens would like to see if we could get into that, the LAMIG program, to have a half a mile paved from the start of Schoolhouse Road to where our city cemetery is. That would enable us, if we did have a rain and when people are trying to have a cemetery or a burial, getting the vehicles down that road. Well, it's only, like I said, it's 4/10 of a mile from the end of the road to this lane that goes up to the cemetery. And we don't want the lane going up to the cemetery paved, just the main road. That's what we'd like to get on the agenda or get on the list for things. That LAMIG program is an excellent way to get it done. We wouldn't have to have but a 10% match from the county because we did pass the Transportation Investment Act in this part of the Georgia region, so it wouldn't be but a 10% match for the funds that has it done. And there would be and like now with us passing the Transportation Act, we get 25% of our tax money on gasoline back each month. We get a monthly check, or the county does. So actually, the road is in the city of Denton, but it's a county maintained road. It's being paid, graded by y'all.
And it's a half a mile.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 1.5 miles is all it is. And it would help out the community immensely, especially when we do have a burial.
Your TIA money that you have received, have y'all spent it before?
We have never received any money. We have never received any money. There's for 2015, Jeff Davis Unincorporated has received $430,000. The Hazelhurst itself has received $52,000 in LAMIG funds. City of Denton has received none. And we hadn't had any call for any, but I don't assume that we could put in. I think it has to go through the county to be put into the state funds. the city of Tiffin itself get put in.
Do y'all or anybody here have a general idea what it would cost to pay half a mile?
No, maybe.
If you got the ditches, I mean, if it was there, resurface, it'd be about 125,000, but, dig the ditches. What kind of problem? First of all, the county don't accept the road or paper road unless we have the 60 or 80 foot right of way. So the first thing that would come into this play forward that we would have to have 80 foot right of ways given by the landowners. Do you have any idea probably how many landowners would be involved?
No, sir, not right off here, I'm sure what.
You know how much right of way is there? I guess it's supposed
It's
to
just
be.
a
Probably
standard
40 foot.
20-foot dirt road. 25-foot dirt roads and then.
Probably talking about 20 on each side.
At least. There's some 30 foot and there's some 40 foot on most of the dirt roads that we run into. And so I don't know if that's a 30 or a 40. It's probably one of the others. Well, when I walked here, I don't know about anybody here that was here. When we first started off, it was going to school and churches and graveyards.
Yes.
And so, I know when Mr. Hatcher's Ray Senior died, they couldn't bury him that day.
Yes.
And I've been to 2 or 3 funerals there that, they would have to wait. And it is a need. I would think that, if you start running a lot of opposition, do you know anything about any of that?
You, best thing to do is get all of them that join that road, see first if they'll give the right of way.
All right.
Because we got to have, it's got to be 80 foot
That'd be 80 foot
from the center of the road,
40
on each
40 on
side.
each side.
And see if you got somebody to hold out, then you can't do it.
Yes, I understand that.
So that'd be the first thing you want to do, is make sure you get a petition up and let everybody sign it saying they'll give, then you got the survey. That's what, how you have to go about it.
It's a clay road, right?
Yes.
Is it got?
Well, that part of it is clay. Yeah. Further on past, say another mile down the road, it's turned into sand. But we don't want to go, but just the part that's going to be paved is clay.
Probably,
Get with Matt
yeah.
and have him to see if he can get him to sign that petition.
What I would start off with, I'd get a hold of Matt and city council.
Yes, sir, I'm the city council.
And y'all take and notify Kathy Young in the tax assessor's office and let her give you the landowner's names and the amount and parcel number of each piece of property that she's talking about its own. And then Ms. Carla, could you draft the letter? And if you would take and go by and ask them or call a meeting and have them to come to City Hall and see if they're willing in, giving it, then, we can start to see what we can come up with, at least that we would have. We got some people that done this 15 years ago,
Yes.
and they give up the land and the road still hasn't been paid. But that would be the first way that I would start, is, and to get it and then see how many would be willing, and to make sure that we don't have a lot that would be. And then we can go from there.
All right, gentlemen, I sure appreciate y'all's time.
When you was talking about this with me, you said that the county had to give 10% and the rest of it would be given. Have you talked to anybody, or is that just what you've read, or?
That is, I was seeing a teleconference of the gentleman that's over, the Georgia DOT over this year. He had They had a YouTube video of him doing a teleconference explaining it to all the county commissioners, and apparently all the mayors was tuned into it when he done the meeting. And it was part of that meeting that it would only be, being we passed the Transportation Investment Act, that put us in the heart of Georgia area. There was only like 46 counties that passed it. And apparently the heart of Georgia region passed it, and there's a few right around us, that anyone else would have to pay a 30% match if he was not.
Was that Tony? Was Tony?
Yes.
It was Tony, yeah, I've seen him, been to his class. And, but now the LMIG 2 goes through the county, and the county that we've come up and had roads that's on it, and that we've already got in line, but I mean, you know, going to a cemetery or something like that, and I think that's something that, you know, would have to be looked into. And I'd like to say, no more than I've been, I know 3 different occasions, and that they couldn't barrel that day, had to wait 2 or 3 days to the road got better before we go in and scrape it. And also, that would be probably the first way to start it.
All right, well, I sure appreciate y'all's time, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, John Reed requests to rename a portion of Georgia Circle to Pan Lane. Are any of y'all familiar with that road? It's just a little road that comes off of Bridgeville Church Road, just kind of makes a circle, goes in and comes back out. What's happened, one of the landowners has closed one end of it because going across the pond dam. And the other end is what he is requesting to change on the other end.
Have you looked on any other landowners besides him there?
The landowners, yes,
I mean,
I know there's 2 because one of them works at the school.
What they say?
I didn't know nothing about it, I just paid.
okay. First of all, if we can't landlock anybody, but if there's, you talking about now too, like Mr. Reed that works at schools, that one you talking about?
No, Mr. Reed lives at the end.
And he's the one
And he
who
owns
closed it.
most of it. Rename it, he's on
Oh, he just want to rename
They
it?
closed the other end, last post was here. It used to go across the pond down and just make a circle, and no longer can do that. Mr. Reed, the other board that works with the maintenance at the school, him and his son live on it, but they run in front of the practice and it leads on that. John's got that business out there, that,
Yeah, what you do?
I don't feel like it would be a problem with the other ones, because, you know,
Yeah.
we would rather get with them.
Yeah, we'd have to talk to them.
Or do like we do when we do close roads, run in the paper and see how they feel about it.
But that's like closing, but not changing the name. What's it want to change it to?
Pan Lane.
That's the first person, that name, well, that's somebody lives on.
It's kind of a family situation, most of it's family. Neil, and his son, I think, live on Reed. But I could probably get in touch with
That's
them,
what to do, get in touch with them.
see how they feel about it.
Where does it start? You know, landowner commission.
I feel like it's probably from their property back to the highway. I'll try to get in touch with them and see. Next, reappoint Ms. Patsy Brantley to the DFAX Board. I need a motion to accept this.
I'll make a motion.
I need a second. All vote. Next is to reappoint Justin Fisher to serve on the Board of Election. I need a motion.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
That's the thing.
All vote. Reappoint Roger Jean Livingston, Sue Livingston to the Aging Advisory Committee.
Make the motion.
All vote. Approve, deny application for beer and wine license for Ezra Cortez. Y'all have that in your packet?
Has she made a qualification? Is it she?
She's, I think she just, application,
Does she have a qualification? Yeah.
nothing, schools or nothing, there's no problem with that. Everything's good. If everything's been checked out,
I'll for the motion.
we got a motion, need a second,
I'll second.
all vote. Wayne, opposed? Approve resolution authorizing the administrator, the clerk, and chairman to deposit and or withdraw funds from the local government investment pool on behalf of the county.
I'll for the motion. Second.
Motion got a second, all vote. Approve or deny funds for Escobar and Jenkins. Y'all familiar with that? It's in your packet.
Their board has been approved.
Their board has done approved it, it's in your packet. They asked them for us to go ahead and approve.
Their board has been approved. I'd like to motion we approve it.
I'll second.
We got a motion, we got a second, all vote. Any opposed? None. Approve or deny ENRs for Reverend Gregory Hartmeyer and Veronica Marquez. Their board has
We've done also.
approved this, and their board is in schooling today, that's why they were none of them here.
I'll make a motion.
I need a second. All vote. None opposed. Approve, deny a request from Nicole Weeks to replace right rear window. You have your paper on that from the sheriff department.
That's how they were done.
They claiming that we did it through a rock. Sheriff department looked inside the road where it happened at, they found no glass. So it's in your hands.
This date, did she come back and report it the same day that it's supposed to got knocked out? I mean, they don't say on the report what day that it started, it just shows what day that they carried it back and paper board of the report.
It really didn't find the glass. Yeah, I need mine.
Yeah, according to the sheriff's statement and no evidence being found, I would make a motion to deny.
We got a motion to deny it, I need a second. All vote. Next, to approve, deny repairing the portion of Bridgeville Church Road in Brantley. We met last week with Hofstadter, and he gave us a report on that. I know we got to do something.
We gotta get some bids.
Well, they can't start the bids till we,
Right.
okay.
They say go ahead and get started.
So they get started and then it'll be January.
the Bridgeport is on it, the Brantley Road is not on it. And he didn't talk anything or have any bids on the Brantley Road, right? And,
Well, did they get tore up too, man?
It's
it just.
a small portion of it, I feel like it. Either when he comes to get estimates, we can get him to look at that.
The idea is we'll move forward on these two, so we get.
On Bradley also.
I think it both, so we can talk with him, he told us on Bridgeport, but I'm not gonna negotiate something that I don't know, that we talking $5,000 or $100,000.
I agree with that.
He ain't talking about that.
But I didn't think we were either, but then, again, if you, when you say the road, you're not saying we're gonna do 50 foot, 100 foot, or 3
We
miles.
measured it, but after we measured it, they still haul more and it tore up more, so this is something that we just gonna have to look into. But the Brandon Road is destroyed, moving into others, so we got
The Brantley or Bridgeport?
Bridgeport,
That's what
the
I
one that we got down on the paper.
I'll
The
make,
Bridgeport,
said.
sure.
Won't we approve the Bridgeport?
yeah, I'll make a motion to approve Bridgeport and table the Brent until I have a better estimate.
Right.
I'll second that motion.
All right, I got a motion, I got a second, all vote.
Now, is this approved to pave it or approved for them to start?
Prepare more, yeah,
Prepare.
yeah.
And now, but now, here, are we going with the reconstruction like they were talking about? Or, because he gave us about 2 or 3 different things, so we're not, which one are we approving? You know, about where you chew it up and then put more, or you
But that
come in and
was-
defect?
he gave us 3 different things, but he said what it was gonna take on Bridgeport Church
It was
Road.
two to it.
Was to, it was gonna have to
That's what I
be,
said, it had to be cheaper.
yeah, there was no other way on
It's the
that.
best option.
As bad as it tore up.
And is this starting at the Bell Telephone Road and going to the end, or starting just where it's going up,
Bridgeport Church,
at Bridgeport?
to Brandon Road, where's this office?
It was already on the tier though.
It's on the, yeah, it's on tier 2. And, they can go ahead and, get the contract up and get started, but it take you 3 to 4 months.
He said it would be October, November, get the contracts out in January.
Yeah.
Come in January.
So I got a motion, so I got a second, and all vote. Next is to approve or deny stop signs at Beach and Forest projects on AJ or J. Young Road. Jerry and I met out there a few weeks back, looked at this situation. It's gonna be a problem if we don't do something, and they explained, I'll let Jerry explain it.
Well, there's just gonna be a lot of traffic crossing there, forklifts. Daryl, how many did you say? Forklifts and trucks, and you wanna come and talk just a little bit about the parking lot and
Sure.
just tell us a little bit about that, just so we know exactly what we're dealing with.
Okay, so there'll be between 200 and 250 forklifts that cross the highway a day. We're moving the employee parking lot, which is on the west side of 221, over to J.A. Road. That 221 is a much, more traveled area, so we think that's a safety issue for employees. So when we put that employee parking lot on the new annex on J.A. Road, that's gonna put between 400 and 500 passenger vehicles going in and out of that road a day. And there'll be approximately 100 semis going in or out of that facility a day. So it's significant traffic, and we think that our position as a company is that we think it needs a stop sign there. We are willing to fund costs associated with that, such as we'll buy a stop sign, we will fund, if the county thinks it's appropriate to put rumble strips, we'll fund that, and if the county believes it's appropriate to put a flashing red light there, we'll fund that for the county. We don't want to be responsible for a light, but if the county puts it up, send us the bill, we'll pay for it.
Well, what do you think? Do you think if we put the stop signs and rumble strips, you think that'd be safe enough?
The level of traffic there, I mean, where I'm at is, I mean, I see it as a danger, and I don't want us to have an accident, have a fatality, have a disaster out there, and then worry about what we should have done.
That's right.
So, I mean, I'd rather be proactive and do everything that the DOT would allow us to do. And, you know, we're gonna light the crossing there. And, I mean, and so, I mean, I'm certainly not the correct person to say, well, a flashing red light is the correct thing to do there, but I would suggest that we do it unless the DOT tells us it's a reason why not to do it. So, I mean, it's a significant traffic pattern change on that road, and we just think it's our responsibility to point that out.
I most definitely think we need to do something. I don't know what we need to red flash. What we need to do is get DOT probably, don't we? And ask them. But I most definitely think we need to stop signs myself. And rumble strips too.
Yes, we do too.
Let me just say this, and, when I first learned about this, of course, I went out and Darryl showed me this, and I was 100% for that, okay? Thought we needed. And I talked to a few more people, and some people didn't like that. So then I was a little bit hesitant. But yesterday, I got an answer, and I was at a Sunday night church meeting, and that comes from, I hope I can say it's legal, if I can't, then that's all I can tell you, but Proverbs 22:3 says, a prudent person foresees danger and takes precaution. It says, the simpleton goes blindly on and suffers the consequences. So I do foresee a danger. So,
And now, make sure I understand, you're gonna take the parking lot that you've had crossing the state highway
Yes,
and move it around there on the county road.
yes.
But that's a hazard right there, them people crossing that big road walking, that's a hazard. That'll-
Yes.
Go back in the road, hey, all right, tell me this, are they gonna come back from there, and I had talked with Bill showed me one day, are they gonna leave your business and come back up J.E. Young Road to the golf course? Or is it going to be DOT that says that you take the shortest route to the state highway, to the closest and shortest route to the state highway? And that would be leaving there and going back up and coming out on the Uvalde Highway.
Okay, the forklifts are gonna cross.
They're gonna cross roads, I'm talking about trucks now, because you're gonna leave that whole parking lot, not counting all of those that's gonna be coming in and out loading.
Well, the passenger vehicles, the employee vehicles, I assume they'll go whichever direction they need to go.
We're talking trucks, your DOT.
And the semi trucks will go the route that the DOT has suggested, and it's my understanding that the DOT has suggested that the safest way to get out of there is to go back towards, the golf course. And that's, I mean, that's.
Yeah, but then, all right, when they said that, that's when they was gonna put the exit lane and do some more work down there?
They suggested that that was a safer route out than making two turns coming out on J.A. Young and then going to 221 with the hill that exists right there on 221.
Mr. Beasley, if I may, the J.A. Yawn and 221 intersection, we had that meeting back in, I think it was July or August of last year, and the reason why it was kind of a decision of two makings right there. We did discuss the route that you were talking about, going down and then making the turn and get out on 221. The DOT reps that were there, they all agreed after about an hour and a half that if a decision was to be made logistically how to get in and out, that it would be a safer route to go back up to the J.E. on 221 intersection. That's why they also suggested the improvements to that intersection rather than the one down where the other route going around the south side of the Ralph Farm Road. Or was it? Walnut, I'm sorry. And that's why they suggested to do the improvements up there at the JE on 221 intersection, because of those two factors taken into consideration. It made more sense and it was actually safer.
If they gonna do that,
They awarded $50,000 towards the project, which only covers engineering costs. We actually came to a stop on that because at that time, the county didn't see where funds would be available to take that expense on. What I'm wanting to do right now is go back to the drawing board on it. Still got all the information and notes from that meeting. I'd like to look into some alternative funding sources that the county might be able to take advantage of to get the improvements done to that intersection. But as far as what we're talking about tonight, the stop signs at the crossing from the new facility to the mill, on behalf of the Development Authority, and we've talked to Mr. Beasley and Mr. Darrell on numerous occasions about this. It's a simple, inexpensive precautionary measure to take when we're talking about people's lives. And if y'all aren't aware, these forklifts aren't the typical forklift. A passenger car or a truck will lose every time if they come up on one of those things. So, like I said, just on behalf of the Development Authority, we do hope that y'all do approve to at least put up some stop signs and the rumble strips. That would be a cheap, effective measure to take at this point.
It's not as much as the forklifts worried about, or I'm worried about, it's them when they stop. And they start off and somebody comes around that curve and doesn't way running 60 mile an hour, and that forklift hits the brake, and that lumber goes out. Then that's the disaster. They're not talking little packets, they're talking about stacks. I would hate to think it was my family that lost it. You know, we went through this on the Bell Telephone Road, wreck after wreck after wreck, and it took 6 people, a whole family, to get killed. And then they could put four-way stop, they could put rumble strip, they could put the flashing light, but yet, what people don't, the man's wife, the children, his mama. We don't want to see that. And that's why I'm still coming.
Well, we're gonna live with whatever y'all's decision is, so we just want you to understand that we view it as a serious concern and we wanted to make you aware of it.
So LaRocha is offering a motion. I need a second
Motion for,
to put stop signs and hand.
No, we also need to check with DOT about the cost of money.
I think if they're willing to do it, we need to.
I didn't understand y'all willing to buy it and put it up but not maintain it, or what was
We'll call
it?
it.
We would prefer that the county buys it and installs it and maintains it and send us a bill for the initial installation cost.
And that's a caution light up in the sky or on the side of the roof?
Whatever that the county feels like is appropriate.
We got a motion, we got a second.
I'll say.
All those. Opposed?
Thank you, Darrell.
Next, we're going into executive session to discuss personnel. If y'all will excuse me,
I see.
please. Got a second, all vote.
Do you want to go in my office and say something? Yeah.
Y'all don't have to leave. They're gonna leave.
We're gonna leave.
Yes, sir.
Right? Yeah. When? that.
I need a motion to go back to regular session. Then I need a motion. Second. All vote. Next on the agenda is public comment. Yeah, we're talking about road department supervisor. We've set up a time and a date to meet with them. And I need a motion to interview
Offer motion that we interview personnel
for the rest
signed
of
up for the road department.
the. Need a second?
Second.
All vote. Now, next on the agenda is public comments. And we appreciate all y'all coming out.
Anybody else want to talk? I just want to say, it's a pleasure to be here. And I'm here as your friend. And I foresee better relations coming and coming soon between the city council and the county commission. We don't want to be thought of as an enemy. We all are determined to work together for the betterment of this town and county. And I'd like to thank all of you for your choice as your county administrator. I've had an opportunity to talk to at least 2 or 3 times at length. I've known them all the time. You did a good job in your selection. And it can only improve our relationship. So, without being very specific, I will say that good news, I think maybe we'll be here in just a few days. I think all of you have a smile on your face. With some results that are coming from the city. So anyway, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to speak to you. It's a pleasure to be here. And we're going to do our best to get along better and better as time goes on. I know all of you, well, I don't know, I didn't really know Harush, but I plan to get to know him better.
Yes, sir.
Just look forward to a better relationship. I think you'll see evidence of that very soon. Okay?
We appreciate your time.
My name is James Thompson Jr. I'm the Mayor Pro Tem of Denton, Georgia. We're working on a lot of projects in the city of Denton. We're going to be coming to y'all meetings more and more regular. We got, I think the last time Mr. Wooten was in office, he helped us with our cemetery. One of the problems that we have is we're buried on top of one another. Matter of fact, we had to turn somebody down last month because there was no place to actually put him. Mr. Wooten came over with his stuff and helped us out, so we're really getting ready on our new project. Our cemetery has just maxed out. So we're working on some stuff. I'm working on the landowners right now to see how much land we can get. And once I get all my ducks in a row, I'm going to be coming back to you guys to see if we could come up with a reasonable solution to help us with the problem at hand. So, and the mayor, Matt McCall, and myself, and all of the county commissioners, we're really working to the city of Denton, and I wish y'all would come out and come to our meetings because we are kind of young, but we really want to make a good impression on the people in the city of Denton. So we would like it if y'all would come to our meetings, and if y'all could help us with some projects that we're trying to do, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
James, just to clarify this, you're talking about a different cemetery than they were talking about earlier.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Theirs has got plenty. Ours only had well, at the time, we only had like a few people and they was moving out. So we just had maybe like a half an acre. But now that people, I guess the city is charging so much money for the cemetery plot, so we're working on trying to see if we can start charging, we're working on trying, but first of all, before we can start charging, we gotta get a decent cemetery that we can charge for. So there are a lot of stuff that we're really trying to do with the cemetery that we have over there, and like I said, we're putting people in the guy was digging about 3 months ago before we actually turned the people down. He actually was digging up pieces of actual cemetery where somebody had actually been buried. And what happened when they was buried in boxes and stuff like that, and when they was buried, the county came in back maybe 10 years ago, and all these sinking holes in the city, in the cemetery, they just came in and applied cement over it. Then they took the backhoe and covered it up. So it looked like a clay road, but it actually was bodies. So when the people came in with the backhoe, they actually was digging up the clay where the people had actually, the county had came in and put cement actually inside, and then they was digging that cement back out, which happened to be vaults under there. So like I said, this getting to be a problem, and we had to turn a couple of people down. Like, we only just wanted to present one thing to you at a time, so I'm gonna be coming back, but right now, I'm working on getting a lot of stuff in place so that, hopefully, and we thank Mr. Jerry for what he's done, and matter of fact, we done lotted out that little plot that you fixed. So we're working on getting some new land on.
Well, it's slowed down, they dying too fast.
I know, on the best business in town now, is cemetery business. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Any more public comments?
I'd like to thank y'all. Having the agendas on outside windows has been a big plus for me. You gentlemen offering to get up and meet in executive session in the administrator's office, I appreciate that. I know y'all are trying to use your microphones, but all of them's not working, so.
Even when they work, you can't really tell them.
I know, some of them said they couldn't hear back here today, so.
I just have to speak louder, mine don't work. Do you hear me now?
But thank you, guys.